Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again for the one time. How y'all doing today on this Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? Yes, hump day. I keep, like, the days of the week just go by so fast for me. I don't ever know what days of the week it is anymore. Like, I thought today was Thursday, for real, but anywho, it's hump day, and, what can I say? Another week and no football for Cowboys. And I really hate this time of year because it's like, the season's over for our team, but, the playoffs were still going on, and then the Super Bowl will be next week or whatever. And um, is it next week or the first week of February or whatever? But I think they're supposed to have like 22,000 fans there, so no more, no less than that. So it's going to be a definitely interesting Super Bowl. It's probably going to be a really good game because the Buccaneers going against Kansas City, and I called that. I called that. And I said that was going to be the two teams that played, and I think that it's going to be a really good Super Bowl because you're going to have, because remember, Antonio Brown didn't play in the championship game because his knee swelled up, so he didn't even take the flight. So, coming back home and playing in your own stadium, it's going to be crazy. And the fact that Rob Gronkowski, so everybody talks about Tom Brady being the GOAT and all this. Yes, we agree. And I hate when people use him as an example for bringing, because, I talked about um, our quarterback situation, and we need to sign our guy. Period. People talk about bringing Matt Stafford or bringing this and that, and they say, "Oh, well, Tom Brady did this." Well, Tom Brady has done things that no other player has done. So you really can't use him as a reference because Tom Brady. You can't name any other veteran in the league that you could bring in and just come in and just do that and just get to the Super Bowl. It just doesn't happen like that. Now, granted, they did bring talent with them. It wasn't just him. They got Leonard Fournette. They went and got Rob Gronkowski out of retirement. Antonio Brown, although he didn't play in the last game, he still was on the team. He still helped out during the playoffs and during the year. Um, just the many free agents that they just got and just picked off and just brought to the team to add pieces to the team. And that's why I was saying that with the Dallas Cowboys, for us to be a championship team, um, we just need pieces. And with this better coaching staff, I think it's going to help. I know some of you guys are probably like, "Oh, well, I didn't like what Mike McCarthy did last year, this, that, and the third." I really feel like last year was an aberration. I think last year was just one of those seasons where it was like, okay, Mike McCarthy is new to the team. He's still trying to work his way around things. The Joneses are still controlling shit as usual. I think that he didn't really he didn't implement his offense. They were still running the same thing from before because of the COVID and everything. So I think that the things that were run with the Dallas Cowboys is different than other teams. Oh, well, you say, well, Cleveland did good and they had a new coaches, okay, but they also didn't lose their quarterback. They didn't lose their offensive line. So you could talk about so many different things. Like I hate when people like they try to compare apples to oranges. It's not the same thing. Cowboys differences are different than other teams. You look at our whole division. Our whole division was trash. I don't give a damn if Washington made it to the playoffs. It didn't matter. They got ousted in the first round. It didn't matter. We knew that was going to happen. This division was just so horrible. No team deserved to be there, period. But that's not what I was trying to talk about in this video. But I did want to, clarify some things like that because we got to understand that, like, I understand that fans are frustrated. I get it. We haven't won shit since '96. I get it. I get it. I'm right there with you. But if you're a real fan of the team, you're going to root for them regardless. The Browns had many losing seasons. The Bills had many losing seasons. Those are two teams that actually did well this year, made it into the playoffs, and had great records this year. The Bills didn't make it to an AFC title game since '93, so they're right there with us. So at the same time, you got to understand that, like, we're not the only team that don't make it to the Super Bowl. We look at the Patriots and be like, okay, well, they kept going back and back and back. They're the only team that did that. You look at the coaches in this league outside of Bill Belichick. All the head coaches in this this team in this league that have Super Bowls probably only have one. You look at Sean Payton, one. You look at Mike McCarthy, one. It's hard to go to the Super Bowl. It's hard to go to the Super Bowl. It's not easy to make it to that game. You have to have Lady Luck on your side. You have to have a good defense because, again, it ain't just the offense. Your defense has to be able to stop the other team, period. They got to get turnovers. They got to get stops. And they got to get that ball back for the offense, period. That's the only way that's going to work out. So, in my opinion, I just think that with as dynamic as our offense is, we really just need pieces on that defense. You get a safety here, a defensive tackle here, because, again, if we're able to stop the run, our ends are good. You get some big, beefy guys in the middle to stop that run. It's going to help your secondary. You get a scrappy safety, and you already got young Trayvon Diggs at cornerback. Like I said, you just bring in a couple of pieces on defense, and that'll make things better. And of course, with a new, better coordinator, because I think that I don't see Dan Quinn, being terrible. He at least does a scheme that this team is used to. You had Mike Nolan coming in here and trying to change the defense to a 3-4 and doing things against what your personnel is. If your personnel doesn't dictate your scheme, this shit ain't gonna work. It's just not. But to each his own. So what I wanted to get in here, what I really want to talk about, I want to talk about the free agents. If you look at my last video, check out my last video I did on defensive tackle free agents that should be available this offseason. Now, some of these guys might get re-signed to their team, but I'm just going to talk about them just for shits and giggles because, again, you never know. Some teams might say, we'll let this guy hit free agency and see if maybe another team can pick him up. If not, then we'll sign him. Some of these teams that these guys are on are money strapped, so they probably won't be able to re-sign these guys because they might command some money. Some of these guys might be out of the Cowboys' realm because of money, and we know that the Cowboys typically in the past have not spent a lot on safety, so that should tell you something. But I'm going to talk about these names because these are like the top guys that could be available if their teams don't re-sign them for the offseason. Okay, well, let's start with Denver Broncos safety Justin Simmons. There's been a lot of talk about Justin Simmons. I know there's been other YouTubers that talk about him. There's been sports analysts that's been talking about Justin Simmons and what team he could go to if the Broncos do not re-sign him. So Justin Simmons, he'll be 27 years old by the time the next season starts. He's a safety for the Denver Broncos. He had 5 interceptions this past season alone. So he's probably going to command some money. So you might not be able to get him, but it's a good name to bring up because I think that if the Cowboys were able to pull that off, he'd be a dream selection for the Cowboys because he could come in there and immediately improve your defense. He had 5 interceptions last season. He had 16 in his career alone. I think he's rated, in the top 5 as far as getting interceptions in the amount of time that he's been in the league. Because he's been in the league. I think he got drafted the same year that Dak Prescott did. So, yeah. 2016. So, yeah, that's a dream pick right there. Marcus Williams, safety for the New Orleans Saints. He'll be 24 years old by the start of next season. He's a reliable playmaker. He has 13 career interceptions since he first got in the league. Obviously, being 24 years old, he's still on his rookie contract. So, he's probably going to want some money. But he's definitely a reliable playmaker. He reminds me of like a Byron Jones back there. A guy that's going to be right. He's always right there in the play. Always there. He's always where you need him to be. John Johnson III, safety for the Rams. He'll be 25 years old by the start of next season. He had an up and down career, but he played a big role in the Rams defense this past season, and he had some injuries in 2019, so he missed some games. But outside of that, though, he's played every game of his career outside of missing some games in 2019. But outside of that, he's played in every single game. He's definitely an option. You might could get him on a little cheaper deal because of the simple fact that uh, because of that year that he had those injuries. So that might bring it down a little bit. Marcus May. We talked about Marcus May, safety for the Jets. Now, for whatever reasons, the Jets had really good safeties and stuff like that, but it just seemed like they just couldn't win games, and I don't know what their issue is. So he'll be 28 years old by the start of next season. He was a 4-year starter, and in 2020 alone, he had 11 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions in 2020. He's a traditional free safety. He plays as the box and the slot corner safety. So basically, he's kind of like what Barry Church was to us. He could come down and help out with the linebackers in the box, or he could play in the slot to cover tight ends and slot receivers. Now, Marcus might not be available because he's going to command some money, and the Jets got cap space, so they are going to more than likely re-sign him because they got the money to do so. And the last one I have is Anthony Harris, safety, 29 years old. He had 6 interceptions in 2019. He didn't have any interceptions in 2020, but he's definitely a guy that you could probably get him on a cheaper because his production value from 2020 went down a little bit. But he's still a reliable player. He's still an upgrade to what you have. All of these guys are upgrades to what you have. Me personally, though, I would probably go get some safeties in the draft, though. It'd be a cheaper option for you. But knowing the Cowboys, they'll probably find, because not all of these guys are going to get big money in free agency. Some of them are going to get veteran mins. And they're probably going to attack the guy in free agency that's going to get the veteran mint. In my opinion, they should have kept Ha Clinton Dix. I don't understand why Ha Clinton Dix is not on this team. Ha Clinton Dix is a former first round draft pick. You're not going to sit here and tell me that he's garbage. So he was definitely better than Darian Thompson. I don't understand why. And I guess because he maybe was talking, but that's bullshit. If you got talent, you need to keep your talent. I don't want to hear about you not wanting to select a player just because he spoke his mind, but not necessarily in a disrespectful way. But like if it's truth, then you need to figure out they should have got rid of Mike Nolan right when him and Brandon Carr said something. You should have kept those guys. They were proven veterans, but who am I? I'm not a scout, I'm not a coach. So I guess my opinion don't matter. But with that being said, let me know what you think about these guys, and let me know in the chat if there's safeties that you want to draft as well, because I'm pretty sure that they're gonna go after some of that too. Because we're picking 10. I think the Cowboys have 4 picks in the top 100 in this draft, so it's gonna be talent there, and they're gonna be guys that slip because of behavior issues or anything like that. Because people are slipping information out on these players that are not favorable to their draft stock. So, with that being said, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. It's your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Peace.